What you are about to hear will contradict everything the world screams at you about wealth. The sports cars, the private jets, the day-in-the-life videos. That's not wealth. That's flash. And flash is the enemy of fortune. Real wealth is silent. It's boring. It's invisible by design. It is the quiet, disciplined accumulation of assets that work while you sleep, while you play, while you ignore them. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a get-rich-sure system, a no-hype guide for the future millionaire who is tired of the noise and ready for the truth. For the next 2 hours, you will learn to build in silence. Let's begin. The first chapter is Mute the Millionaire Fantasy. Listen. Right now, I need you to listen. Because there is a war for your attention. And more importantly, there is a war for your wallet. And you are losing. Not because you're not smart, not because you don't work hard, but because you have been sold a fantasy. A loud, shiny, deeply seductive lie. They show you the private jet, but not the debt note on the hanger. They show you the diamond watch, but not the drained savings account. They show you the day in the life, but not the night of the anxiety. This is the insta-wealth facade, and step 1 of building silent wealth is to mute it permanently. Let's take a real-world example. You see the guy on your feed. Let's call him Flexing Frank. Frank is leaning on a gleaming $120,000 luxury SUV, gold chain, designer sunglasses. The caption says, "Blessed." And a part of you twinges. A part of you compares. Now, let me show you the quiet neighbor. Let's call her Stealthy Susan. You've never seen Susan's car on social media. It's a 5-year-old sedan, reliable, paid for. Susan isn't posting from exotic locations. She's walking her dog. But Susan owns the small apartment building Frank lives in. His rent check, it goes to her. It pays her mortgage. It funds her investments. Frank's wealth is a performance. Susan's wealth is an engine. Do you see the difference? Loud wallets are often empty. The real fortune is whispering. It's not on display. It's on the balance sheet. You have a choice. You can admire the display, or you can own the store. Let's get brutal with the math, because fantasy hates math. Math is the truth teller. That car Frank is leaning on, let's say it's a lease, $1,200 a month. But let's be generous. Let's say you're just tempted by the mid-level luxury sedan, a $500 monthly payment. Sounds almost reasonable, right? It's just $500. Now, follow me. What if, instead of giving that $500 to a car dealership every month for the next 7 years, you gave it to future you? You took that $500 and you invested it in a simple, boring, broad market index fund, averaging a very conservative 7% annual return. In 30 years, that single decision, that $500 monthly habit of investing instead of impressing, is not worth the car. It is worth over $600,000. Let me say that again. The payment on a depreciating metal box could become a $600,000 asset. That is the power of what you keep compounded. That is the silent scream of compound interest. It works while you sleep, but only if you feed it. You are feeding your future, or you are feeding your fantasy. That's the key. Wealth is not what you spend, it's what you keep. And what you keep compounded quietly over time without interruption, that is the core thesis of this entire journey. Write that down. Burn it into your mind. Wealth is not what you spend, it's what you keep compounded. So, we mute the millionaire fantasy. We delete the noise. We redefine the goal. The goal of silent wealth is not to look rich on a Zoom call. Anyone can fake that. Rent a backdrop, borrow a suit. The goal is to be able to end a Zoom call forever. The goal is freedom from attention, because attention is a tax. The goal is freedom from obligation, the debt obligation, the keeping up obligation. The goal is freedom from desperation, the desperation that makes you take a job you hate, tolerate a boss you despise, because you have no silent army of assets backing you up. Silent wealth is options. It is peace. It is walking away on your own terms. It is the ultimate form of control. You don't need their permission to live below your means. You don't need their validation for driving a used car. You are not here to perform prosperity for an audience of strangers. You are the master of your own world. And a master builds foundations, not facades. Think of it this way. There are two games being played, the loud game and the quiet game. The loud game is visible. It's addictive. It's about status symbols, instant gratification, and applause. The quiet game is invisible. It's about asset columns, delayed gratification, and personal peace. The loud game is a sprint, exhausting. The quiet game is a marathon. You are pacing yourself. You are strong. You're intelligent. You are playing the long game. And in the long game, the only audience that matters is you, and the balance sheet you review in private. So your first assignment, your first act of quiet rebellion, I want you to go on a 24-hour fantasy fast. For one full day, consciously notice the insta-wealth signals, the ads, the posts, the shows, and I want you to label them. Out loud or in your mind, say, that's a liability, that's a performance, that's noise. Detach the symbol from the substance. The symbol is the car. The substance is the financial freedom that could have bought it. You are not chasing symbols anymore. You are building substance. You have muted the millionaire fantasy. You have seen the math. You have felt the shift. It's not about looking wealthy. It's about being wealthy. And true wealth, the kind that lasts, the kind that liberates, is built in silence. Now, with the volume turned down on the world's lies, we need to diagnose the static inside your own head. We need to find where the noise is coming from inside your own life. Because you can't build in silence if you don't know what's making the sound. That brings us to our next masterclass. Moving to Chapter 2.
Chapter 2 is Diagnose Your Financial Noise Pollution. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it is the absence of interference. You've muted the external fantasy. Good. Now we must deal with the internal static, the noise you generate yourself, the psychological interference that scrambles your financial signal every single day. If you try to build a silent fortune while this noise is blaring in your mind, you will fail. It's like trying to solve a complex equation at a rock concert. Impossible. You must diagnose the noise. You must locate the machines that are producing it, and then you must shut them down. There are 3 primary noise machines. Learn them. Name them. They are the comparison machine, the inflation machine, and the casino machine. Let's start with the loudest one, the comparison machine, also known as social media. This machine runs a 24/7 highlight reel of everyone else's supposed success, the new car, the lavish vacation, the humble brag about a business deal. And your brain, unless you've trained it, compares your behind the scenes to their greatest hits montage. Here's the masterclass truth. Comparison is the thief of your financial peace. It creates an artificial need. You weren't thinking about a $5,000 watch until your college roommate posted one. You were content with your reliable Honda until your coworker rolled up in a Tesla. The comparison machine doesn't sell you products. It sells you inadequacy. And then it sells you the cure, a cure that costs exactly what's in your savings account. You have a choice. You can measure your worth against someone else's curated facade, or you can measure your progress against your own balance sheet from 6 months ago. That's the key. Look inward, not outward. You are the master of your own world, not them. Now, the second machine, the lifestyle inflation machine. This is the silent killer of millionaires in the making. You get a raise, $10,000 more a year, and the machine whispers, you deserve a nicer apartment. You've earned a better car. So you upgrade, and that entire raise plus an extra $200 a month is now gone. Poof, eradicated. You were working harder to look richer while actually staying the same or worse, going backwards. Lifestyle inflation is the enemy of the quiet accumulator. It is spending your future fortune on a slightly more comfortable present. It's not about enjoying your money. It's about letting your money own you. Every dollar that goes into a bigger liability is a dollar that deserts your asset army. You are strong. You are intelligent. You do not have to spend what you earn. You don't need their permission to live well below your means. The third machine is the most dangerous, the casino machine, masquerading as investing. This is FOMO, fear of missing out. You hear about Dogecoin. You see headlines about NFTs. Your brother-in-law made easy money on a meme stock, and the machine screams, "Get in now or be poor forever." Let me be brutally clear. That is not investing. That is gambling with a financial spreadsheet. You're not investing in crypto. You're buying a $3,000 ticket to the anxiety carnival. You will ride the roller coaster of hype, check the price 87 times a day, and likely exit in panic at a loss. That is noise. Deafening, wealth-destroying noise. True silent wealth investing is boring. It is predictable. It is about consistent allocation to assets that have stood the test of time, not the test of TikTok. It's not about getting rich tomorrow. It's about becoming wealthy over 20 years. So, we have identified the machines. Now we perform the audit, the silence audit. This is your actionable mission. For the next 7 days, I want you to track, not just your dollars, but your motives. I want you to carry a notepad on your phone, and for every financial decision, every coffee, every Amazon click, every tank of gas, every investment idea, I want you to ask the foundational question: is this for me or is this for them? Is this coffee for the caffeine and enjoyment, or is it for the Instagram story with the artisanal cup? Is this new shirt because you need it, or because you have a meeting where you feel you need to look the part? Is this idea about buying Bitcoin because you believe in the technology's long-term future, or because you're afraid of being left out? Is this for me or for them? Write it down. The answers will shock you. You will see the fingerprints of the noise machines all over your spending. This is not about guilt. This is about awareness. You cannot change what you do not see, and seeing the noise is the first step to silencing it. From this audit emerges your most powerful state, stealth mode. Stealth mode is the psychological practice of building your wealth completely unseen. It is the ultimate act of financial sovereignty. It means you do not discuss your raises, you do not post your new purchases, you do not boast about your investment wins. You become a ghost in the financial system, silently accumulating, completely under the radar. There is immense power in this. No one can pressure you. No one can give you advice. No one can ask you for loans. Your goals become yours alone. Your progress is a private celebration. Your setbacks are private lessons. There is no ego involved, only execution. And here's the fun part. Your friends should be genuinely surprised by your success one day, not the boring, constant, incremental updates. Think about it. Who's more impressive? The person who talks about their startup for 3 years, or the person who quietly sells it and you only find out when they buy a beach house? Be the second person. Stealth mode makes your eventual success seem effortless. It seems intelligent, because it is. You are building in the shadows. Your left hand should not know what your financial right hand is doing. And if your left hand doesn't know, you can bet your neighbor won't have a clue. You are strong. You are intelligent. You are playing a different game. This is the core of the silent strategy. It's not about hiding, it's about focusing. When you turn off the noise, the comparison, the inflation, the FOMO, you can finally hear the most important sound in the world, the quiet, steady ticking of your own compounding clock, the sound of your assets working, the sound of freedom being built one quiet decision at a time. You have diagnosed the pollution. You have the audit tool. You have entered stealth mode. The static is fading. Now, with a clear signal and pure intention, it's time to talk about your most powerful tool. It's not your job. It's not your intelligence. It's the raw material that flows through your hands every single month. This brings us to the heart of the machinery, Chapter 3. And if you're getting value from this masterclass in quiet power, do the stealthy thing and hit subscribe.
You'll get the full arsenal of strategies without announcing to the whole world you're getting your life together. Keep it between us.
Coming over to Chapter 3, Your Income is a Seed, Not a Snack. Listen, I want you to imagine the sound of a cash register followed by the crunch of someone eating chips. That is the sound of the old you, the sound of harvesting a seed and immediately eating it. It tastes good for a second, and then it's gone. You are left hungry, staring at an empty field, waiting for the next paycheck to plant more seeds you will just eat again. This cycle stops now. Your income is not food. It is not a snack to be consumed the moment it hits your hand. That is a poverty mindset, a scarcity loop. You are strong. You are intelligent. You are not a consumer anymore. Starting today, you are a cultivator, a farmer of your own financial future. Every single dollar that flows into your life is a seed, a tiny, powerful unit of potential, and it has two possible futures. Only two. It can be consumed now, providing a fleeting moment of satisfaction, or it can be planted, buried in the fertile soil of a proper asset, where it is forgotten, watered by time, and allowed to do the miraculous, to grow, to multiply, to become a tree that drops more seeds, which grow more trees, which create an entire forest that provides shelter and resources forever. You have a choice. Consume the seed or plant the seed. That is the only choice that matters. That's the key. The world is designed for you to eat your seeds. The advertising, the instant checkout, the buy now, pay later. It's all a system to make you consume, to keep you harvesting and eating until you're too old to work the field. You are the master of your own world. You must reject this. You must see your income for what it truly is, potential energy, silent, growing, compounding potential. This requires a new rule, a non-negotiable, ironclad law of your silent wealth empire. I call it the first harvest rule. Here is how it works. The moment any income lands in your life, your salary, a bonus, a side hustle payment, even a $20 you found in an old jacket, you do not touch it. You do not look at it as yours to spend. The first action, the first harvest, is for your future. You automatically, ruthlessly divert the first portion to asset acquisition. Before you pay your phone bill, before you buy groceries, before you do anything. I recommend 20%. Start with 20%. This is not a suggestion, this is a mandate. If you are in debt, you may start with 10% to assets and 10% to debt destruction, but a portion must go to building. Think of this 20% as a tax, but not a tax you pay to the government. It is a tax you pay to your future self. Your future self is the most important citizen of your life, and this is the citizenship fee. You pay it first, every single time, without exception. You don't need their permission to pay yourself first. In fact, you must do it without permission, in stealth. Let's make this brutally practical. You earn $5,000 this month. On payday, before your brain can even think new TV, you have a system that immediately moves $1,000 into a separate account, an account labeled Assets or Future Forest. That $1,000 is gone from your spending view. It is planted. The remaining $4,000 is for your life. You live on that. You budget from that. The $1,000, it is working. It is silent. It is growing. This changes everything. It reverses the entire equation of your life. Instead of income minus expenses equals savings, which is usually zero, your equation becomes income minus assets equals expenses. You fund your future first. Your lifestyle adjusts to what is left, not the other way around. This is the discipline that separates the dreamers from the builders. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep and put to work. You are strong. You are intelligent. You can live on 80%. You've been living on 100% and wondering why you have nothing. Now you will live on 80% and know exactly where the other 20% is, building your escape velocity. But we are not relying on willpower. Willpower is a weak muscle that gets tired. We are not relying on memory. You will forget. We are engineers of silence, so we automate it. Automation is the ultimate silent wealth hack. It is the system that removes you and your fragile emotions from the equation. You set it once and it works forever, like a financial robot tending your garden while you sleep. Here is your action right now as you listen. You will set up an automatic transfer. The day after your paycheck hits your checking account, an automatic, invisible transfer moves your 20% to your asset account. Or better yet, you work with HR to split your direct deposit. Send 20% directly to your brokerage or high-yield savings account. It never even touches your spending account. It never even tempts you. This is the mantra. Repeat it. Out of sight, into assets. Out of sight, into assets. If you see it, you will spend it. Your lizard brain will concoct a reason, a need, an emergency. So you make it invisible. You hide the seeds from the snacker inside you. Out of sight, into assets. The money flows silently from your employer to your asset column, without you lifting a finger, without you feeling a pang of sacrifice. It just happens. That's the key. This is the quietest, most powerful work you will ever do. It requires no announcement, no social media post, just a few clicks on a banking website. And then you go about your life, while beneath the surface, your army of seeds is being planted, row after row, month after month, silent, consistent, unstoppable. You have shifted your identity from consumer to cultivator. You have instituted the law, the first harvest rule. You have engineered the system, total automation. The noise is gone. The decision is made. Your wealth is now growing on autopilot in the background of your life. This is the core engine of the silent strategy. It's not about a windfall. It's about the systematic, boring, relentless allocation of your seeds to fertile ground. You are no longer eating your future. You are building it, one planted seed at a time. Now, with your seeds automatically being planted, we must answer the most critical question. What exactly are we planting them in? What is this fertile ground? Because planting your seeds in concrete or in poisoned soil is just as bad as eating them. This brings us to the masterclass on the architecture of quiet fortune, the chapter 4. And if this automated system makes sense to you, if you're ready to build a financial robot butler, hit that subscribe button. It's the automated way to make sure your next dose of quiet power gets delivered. No willpower required.
Chapter 4. That is, build your boring empire. The asset trinity. Stop looking for the secret. There is no secret. There is no magic stock, no cryptic crypto, no hidden real estate deal that only the gurus know about. The path to silent wealth is not hidden. It is just ignored because it is boring. Beautifully, powerfully, life-changingly boring. Your seeds are now flowing, but a seed planted in a pot of rocks will die. It needs the right soil. It needs a system. Today, we build that system. We define the 3 and only 3 types of soil that matter, the 3 pillars of your quiet fortress. I call this the asset trinity. Master this, and you master the game. The trinity is this: income-producing assets, appreciating assets, and the master asset, yourself. Let's demystify them with zero hype. First, income-producing assets. These are your soldiers. They go to work every day and send money back to headquarters. The classic example is a rental property. You own it. A tenant pays you rent. That rent, after expenses, is income you did not trade your time for. It is silent work. Another example is dividends from stocks. This is crucial to understand. A dividend isn't a magic trick. It's a company like Coca-Cola or Johnson & Johnson handing you a tiny piece of its profit simply because you own a share. You are a mini owner, and owners get paid. The goal is not one dividend. It's to own so many shares across so many companies that the dividend payments form a silent quarterly paycheck. Do that 100 times over. That's the key. Second, appreciating assets. These are your scouts. They don't pay you now. They go out into the future and increase in value silently. The prime example is a broad market index fund. Think the S&P 500.
When you buy a share of an S&P 500 fund, you are not betting on a single company. You are buying a tiny slice of the 500 biggest companies in America. You are betting on American capitalism itself. You are betting that over decades, innovation and profit will continue. The value of your share goes up, on average, over time. It's not a straight line. It's a roller coaster that ends on a mountaintop. You don't ride the roller coaster. You own the theme park. You are strong. You are intelligent. You let the market's natural growth work for you quietly while you live your life. Third, and most important, yourself. You are the commander of the Trinity. You are the asset that acquires the other assets. This is your earning power, your skills, your knowledge, your health. Investing in yourself, a course, a certification, a gym membership, therapy, isn't an expense. It is asset maintenance and upgrade. It increases your capacity to plant more seeds, to make smarter decisions. A 10% raise from a new skill is the most powerful dividend you will ever receive. You have a choice. You can chase the exciting, complex, sexy investments that promise everything and deliver anxiety. Or you can build your boring empire with the Trinity. You don't need their permission to think simply. You are the master of your own world. And a master builds with proven, durable materials, not financial fairy dust. Let's talk strategy. You are not a day trader. You are an architect. Your job is allocation. You take your 20% harvest and you distribute it across the Trinity. Maybe 50% to appreciating assets, the index fund, 30% to income-producing assets, a high dividend fund or saving for a rental property down payment, and 20% back into yourself, education, health. The ratios are yours to command, but the categories are non-negotiable. This is where we adopt the most powerful mantra in finance, 1% better. Forget home runs. Forget the grand slam all-or-nothing trade. That's lottery thinking. That's noise. We are engineers of consistent, incremental, silent growth. Focus on being 1% better at funding your Trinity each month. Can you increase your automatic transfer from 20% to 21%? Can you learn one new thing about index funds? Can you redirect one frivolous spending amount into your asset bucket? 1% better is the compound interest of habits. It's not about hitting a buzzer-beater three-pointer at the end of the game. We're not playing that frantic, desperate sport. We are building a scoreboard that just ticks up, relentlessly, day after day, month after month. Tick. Your net worth is up $200. Tick. A dividend hit for $15. Tick. You avoided a stupid $50 impulse buy and invested it. The scoreboard just ticks up. No drama, no fanfare, just the quiet upward creep of financial freedom. This is the boring that leads to liberty. It's not about the thrill of the win. It's about the peace of never having to play a desperate game again. You are building a system so robust, so simple, and so silent that your money outlives you and cares for your children. You are building a legacy of quiet competence. So your action is this. Open 3 notes on your phone. Label them: income producers, appreciators, yourself. Under each, write just one action you will take this month to feed that pillar. Income producers, research one high dividend ETF like CHDC. Appreciators, open a brokerage account and set up a $50 auto invest into VOO, an S&P 500 fund. Yourself, listen to one industry podcast per week to sharpen my skills. That's it. 1% better. One simple action per pillar. This is how empires are built, not with grand declarations, but with small daily deposits of discipline. You now own the blueprint, the asset Trinity. Your seeds have a home, a purposeful, powerful, proven home. Your empire is no longer an abstract dream. It is a mechanical process. It is boring, and it is yours. With your assets now defined and your system humming, we must confront the single greatest threat to this quiet construction, not the market, not the economy. It's the seductive trap that masquerades as a tool. It's the shadow that can swallow your seeds whole. We must now separate the shovel from the anchor,
by moving to Chapter 5. And if you're starting to see the power of boring, do the unsexy thing and subscribe. It's the most reliable dividend-paying click for your mindset. The returns are consistently high.
Let's unleash the power of Chapter 5, The Debt Dilemma, Shovel versus Anchor. Debt is not inherently evil, but confusing a shovel for an anchor is financial suicide. Most people are drowning and they think they're digging. They are wrong, dead wrong. Forget good debt and bad debt. Those are weak, confusing terms. From now on, you will see debt for what it truly is, a tool. And a tool has only one purpose, to build. So we have only two categories, debt that builds assets and debt that builds liabilities. The first is a shovel. The second is an anchor. A shovel helps you dig the foundation of your empire. It multiplies your effort. A low-interest, fixed-rate mortgage on a rental property is a shovel. You put down 20%, the bank lends you 80%, and you now control a $300,000 asset that pays you rent. The tenant's rent covers the mortgage, and you get the appreciation. That is using debt as a force multiplier. A business loan to start a legitimate, cash-flowing enterprise is a shovel. Student debt for a degree that actually increases your earning power by a multiple, that can be a shovel. But it must pass the test. Does this debt directly and measurably help acquire or build an income-producing or appreciating asset? An anchor is everything else. It is dead weight tied to your ankle, pulling you down into the deep. A loan on a brand new, depreciating luxury car is an anchor. The moment you drive it off the lot, it's worth thousands less, but you owe the full amount. Credit card debt from restaurants, vacations, and consumer electronics you no longer use, that's an anchor. Buy now, pay later on a wardrobe, anchors. They provide no return, they only drain. They consume your future seeds before you even plant them, with interest as the tax on your impulsiveness. You have a choice. You can pick up the shovel, or you can tie on the anchor. That's the key. Every single debt proposal must pass the shovel test. Will this debt help me acquire something that puts money into my pocket? If the answer is no, it is an anchor. Reject it. You don't need their permission to say no to a fancy anchor. You are the master of your own ship. Now, let's talk about the silent killer. It's not the anchor itself, it's the minimum payment. The minimum payment is the bank's greatest trick. It is a psychological pacifier that turns a 3-year problem into a 30-year prison sentence. Here is the visceral math. You have a $5,000 credit card balance at 18% interest. The minimum payment is maybe $125. Feels manageable, right? A tiny monthly annoyance. Wrong. If you only pay that minimum, it will take you over 30 years to pay it off. 30 years. You will pay over $7,000 in interest alone. For a $5,000 purchase you likely don't even remember. The $5,000 dinner, the emergency vacation, the gadgets, they are still charging you decades later. That is not a payment. That is financial slavery. That is the anchor's chain wrapped around your future, getting heavier every month. Anchors keep you in port. Cut the rope. Your silent wealth ship cannot set sail for the open waters of freedom with anchors dragging off the stern. You must cut them loose, all of them. This is not optional. This is the great debt elimination, the most profitable investment you will ever make because the return is guaranteed, the interest you stop paying, and tax-free. So how do we cut the ropes? We use a strategy that understands you are human. We use the debt snowball. Forget the mathematically perfect plan for a second. Personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% math. The debt snowball is behavioral genius. Here's how it works. You list all your anchor debts from smallest balance to largest. You make minimum payments on all of them. Then you attack the smallest one with every spare dollar you have. You annihilate it. You demolish it. Why the smallest? For the win, for the momentum. Paying off a $500 medical bill feels incredible. It's a closed door, a finished chapter. That psychological victory fuels you to attack the next one, the $1,000 credit card, then the $2,000 loan.
Each win makes the snowball bigger, your momentum unstoppable. You are strong. You are intelligent. You are building a habit of killing debt. Celebrate paying off a credit card like you just won a playoff game, because you did. You beat a professional institution designed to keep you in debt. Do a dance, eat a steak, mark it off with a huge red pen. That feeling is more valuable than a 0.1% interest rate optimization. Momentum beats math when building discipline. Your action is this. Tonight, you will list your anchors, all of them. You will look at the numbers without flinching. You will find one expense, one latte, one streaming service, one comfort spent, and you will declare that money your anchor assault fund. That $50, $100, $200 a month goes entirely to the smallest anchor until it is dust. Then you move to the next. This is the quiet, unglamorous work of a financial warrior. It's not about investing while you're bleeding out from debt interest. It's about triage, stop the bleeding, cut the anchors. The silence you will hear when those monthly payments stop is more valuable than any dividend. It is the sound of your ship being freed from the mud. You have the tools. You can distinguish a shovel from an anchor. You see the silent killer of minimum payments, and you have a battle-tested strategy, the snowball, to destroy them. This is not about deprivation. It is about liberation. It's not about being cheap. It's about being free. Every anchor you cut is a raise you give yourself, a raise that lasts forever. With your ship now lighter, floating higher in the water, ready to catch the wind, we must address the engine. Not the assets you own, but the captain who steers, the most volatile, powerful, and difficult to manage asset in your entire Trinity. We must fortify the commander. We must talk about the discipline that makes everything else possible. Moving to Chapter 6. And if you're ready to cut your anchors and feel that weight lift, hit subscribe. It's the one click that doesn't come with a 24.99% APR. The ROI is peace of mind.
Now it's time for the Chapter 6, which is Cultivate Financial Samurai Discipline. Discipline is not something you have. It is something you do. It is a practice, a daily ritual. You are not born disciplined any more than you are born knowing how to perform surgery. You learn, you train, you repeat, until it becomes your nature, until the disciplined choice is the automatic choice. We have the strategy, the Trinity, the automated seeds, the cut anchors. Now we forge the mind that will protect it all. We cultivate the discipline of a financial samurai. Not a berserker swinging wildly at every opportunity, but a calm, focused, precise warrior. Your dojo is your daily life. Your katana is your no. Let's start with a simple, devastatingly effective rule, the 24-hour rule. For any non-essential purchase over $500, you impose a mandatory 24-hour waiting period. You do not buy it in the moment. You walk away. You sleep on it. The 24-hour rule is the silent assassin of impulse buys. It kills the "I deserve this" demon. It murders the fear of missing out ghost. Here's how it works. You see the new gadget, the fancy jacket, the upgraded thing. You want it. That's fine. Feeling want is human, but the samurai does not act on feeling. The samurai acts on principle. So you say, in 24 hours, if I still believe this is essential to my mission, I will acquire it. Then you leave. You close the tab. You walk out of the store. 90% of the time, the magic is gone by morning. The urgent need evaporates. You realize it was just a spark of desire, quickly fading. You have saved $500, $1,000, $2,000 with one night of silence. The other 10% of the time, if you still want it after 24 hours of calm reflection, you can proceed with a plan. But now it's a strategic acquisition, not an emotional reaction. You have a choice: react now or respond with wisdom. That's the key.
This leads us to the deepest psychological shift. You must rewire your reward system. You must find pleasure in the build, not the burn. We are programmed to seek the dopamine hit of the new, the unboxing, the first drive, the social media post. That is a shallow, fleeting high. The silent wealth builder finds a deeper, more profound satisfaction, the unseen upgrade. The unseen upgrade is watching your net worth spreadsheet tick upward. It's seeing your asset column grow while your liability column shrinks. It's the quiet pride of knowing your dividend reinvestment just bought you 2 more fractional shares, silently compounding. That feeling is richer, deeper, and longer lasting than any consumer thrill. It is the satisfaction of a craftsman, not a consumer. Repeat this phrase until it's your mantra. Find your high in the spreadsheet, not the shopping cart. Find your high in the spreadsheet, not the shopping cart. The shopping cart high is a sugar rush. It crashes. It leaves you hungry for more with less money. The spreadsheet high is a protein meal for your future. It builds lasting strength. You are strong. You are intelligent. You can choose your addiction. Be addicted to the growth of your own empire. You are the master of your own world. This discipline culminates in your most powerful word, no. No is the sound of your financial boundaries hardening. No to lifestyle inflation. No to expensive outings that derail your anchor assault fund. No to keeping up with anyone. But you don't say no like a jerk. You say it with the grace of a samurai who knows his true mission. You need a script, a default, polite, unshakable script. Here it is. I'm prioritizing some different goals right now. That's it. No further explanation needed. I'm prioritizing some different goals right now. Want to go to the super expensive new steakhouse? I'm prioritizing some different goals right now. How about that great Italian place instead? Time for the new iPhone? I'm prioritizing some different goals right now. This one works just fine. You're not investing in the latest crypto hype? I'm prioritizing some different goals right now. It is unimpeachable. It is personal. It is final. You don't need their permission to have different goals. You don't argue. You simply state your reality. This is the discipline of sovereignty. Saying no to the fancy dinner with friends now is saying yes to the private chef in your future beach house. Choose your yes wisely. Every no today is a down payment on a bigger yes tomorrow. This is the daily practice. The 24-hour rule is your meditation. Finding joy in the spreadsheet is your spiritual practice. The polite no is your kata, your form. You do it again and again. It's not about being rigid and miserable. It's about being clear and free. It's not about deprivation. It's about direction, directed force, a laser, not a light bulb. Your action is this. Implement the 24-hour rule, starting right now. The next time any non-essential want flares up, you pause, you create space, you let the silence between impulse and action grow. And second, write down the script. I'm prioritizing some different goals right now. Put it on your phone. This is your shield. You are cultivating more than discipline. You are cultivating character. The character of a person who can delay gratification, a person who can stand firm amidst a culture of yes, a person whose inner scoreboard matters more than any external validation. This quiet, unshakable discipline is the steel frame of your silent wealth. It holds everything up. Now, with the mind of a samurai sharpened, it's time to move from defense to offense, from protecting what you have to strategically acquiring more. We leave the dojo and enter the field of practical, silent warfare. We deploy the stealth tactics. Moving to Chapter 7, and if you're prioritizing the goal of total financial mastery, include subscribing in that plan. It's a tactical yes that pays infinite dividends in knowledge.
Consider it your first unseen upgrade today.
It's time for the Chapter 7, the Stealth Wealth Playbook, Practical Tactics. Strategy without tactics is just philosophy. It's daydreaming. You have the mind of a samurai. Now you need the tools of a ninja, the unseen methods, the quiet leverage points that accelerate your silent wealth without flashing a single signal to the world. This is not theory. This is the playbook. The how. The under-the-radar, perfectly legal, beautifully efficient how. We begin with the granddaddy of silent wealth tactics, house hacking. Forget everything you think you know about buying a home. House hacking isn't about buying a castle. It's about buying a command center. Here's the demystified version. You buy a small multi-unit property, a duplex, a triplex, a house with a legal basement apartment. You live in one unit. You rent out the others. The rent from your neighbors covers your mortgage, your taxes, a chunk of your insurance. You live for free, or damn close to it. You are not a homeowner. You are a mini hotel operator. You have tenants paying down your mortgage, building your equity, while you sleep in your own building. This is the ultimate silent wealth move. It's not glamorous. It's being a landlord at 28 years old. It's fixing a toilet on a Saturday. But while your friends are blowing $2,500 a month on a luxury apartment downtown, you are paying $500 or zero and acquiring a massive appreciating asset. You have a choice: pay rent to a landlord or have renters pay you. That's the key. You don't need their permission to live differently. You are the master of your own housing. You are strong. You are intelligent. You can solve a clogged drain if it means financial freedom. Tactic 2. The invisible side hustle. Not all income is created equal. Some income screams. Some income whispers. Driving for a rideshare service? That's visible. Trading your time for dollars in a very public, physically exhausting way. The invisible side hustle is different. It's digital. It's leveraged. It's quiet. This is writing articles for businesses. It's doing freelance graphic design. It's coding simple websites. It's virtual assistants. It's online consulting in your field of expertise. This work happens on a laptop, anywhere. It deposits money electronically. It requires no uniform, no car paint job, no performance of a role. It is pure value exchange, invisible to the casual observer. Why does this matter? Because silent wealth is about building capital, not a personal brand as the hustler. You are not performing struggle. You are silently accumulating ammunition for your asset army. The money from this hustle goes directly into your automated 20% harvest. It's found money working in total stealth. It's not about the hustle. It's about the harvest. Now, we arrive at the most powerful, most overlooked superpower in personal finance: tax efficiency. The government is your silent partner. You get to choose whether it's a minority partner or a majority partner. Most people make it the CEO. You will not. This is not about tax evasion. That's illegal and stupid. This is about tax efficiency. Using the legal, boring, beautiful structure of retirement accounts to let your money grow in total silence from the taxman. It's the ultimate out-of-sight, into-assets move. You have a 401k at work? You are likely getting a company match. That is free money. Instant, silent, 100% return. You are not maxing it out? You are leaving free, silent money on the table. You have a Roth IRA? Your money grows in that account for decades, and you will pay zero taxes on the gains when you withdraw in retirement. Zero. The government gets nothing from your compound interest. That is a silent victory of monumental proportions. Repeat this until it's a reflex. It's not about what you make, it's about what you keep. It's not about what you make, it's about what you keep. A $10,000 bonus taxed at 30% leaves you with $7,000 to spend or invest. That same $10,000 deferred into your 401k is a full $10,000 soldier added to your army, working for decades, and it lowered your taxable income now. Which is the smarter, quieter, more powerful move? You have a choice. Pay the government first or feed your future first. That's the key. Your action plan is this three-pronged stealth attack. 1. Research house hacking. Spend 1 hour this week on Zillow or Redfin looking at duplex prices in your area. Run the numbers. Rent for 1 unit versus mortgage. Just look. It plants the seed. 2. Identify your invisible skill. What can you do on a laptop that someone would pay $500 for? Write, edit, organize data, bookkeeping? Name it. That is your stealth wealth weapon. 3. Maximize one tax account. If you have a 401k match, increase your contribution to get every single cent of that free money. If you don't, open a Roth IRA with $50. Automate it. This is your silent wealth bunker. This is the playbook. It's practical, it's actionable, it's quiet. You are not chasing hype, you are building systems. A housing system that pays you, a skills system that pays you, a tax system that protects you. This is how silent wealth compounds faster. It's not one big thing, it's 3 smart things working in the background while you live your life. You are no longer just saving, you are engineering. You are architecting leaks out of the system and funnels into your kingdom. You are playing a deeper, quieter, smarter game. But even the best laid plans face a storm. The market will crash. Fear will grip the headlines. Your own mind will waver. To lock in these gains, you must fortify the one asset that can sabotage it all, your psychology. We must armor your mind against the noise of the world. Moving to Chapter 8. And if you're starting to see the sheer leverage in these silent tactics, do the efficient thing. Subscribe. It's the tax-free, high compound return click for your intellect. The government gets nothing from this transaction.
Chapter 8. Your mind is your most volatile asset. You can have the perfect plan, the perfect automated system, the perfect asset trinity, and you can still lose everything. Not to a market crash, but to a mind crash. Your psychology is not a side note. It is the motherboard, the control center, and left unguarded, it is the most volatile, dangerous asset you possess. It will panic sell at the bottom. It will greed buy at the top. It will sabotage your silence with a cacophony of fear. Guard it, fortify it, or you will fail. First principle. The market is a discount machine over the long term. It will crash. It is guaranteed. Your assets will dip by 20%, 30%, 50%. This is not a bug in the system. This is the system. This is the test. The amateur sees a crisis. The silent wealth builder sees a sale. Let's take the masterclass example. 2008, the great financial crisis. Headlines screamed, "The end." People saw their retirement accounts cut in half. The amateurs, ruled by panic, sold everything. They locked in their losses, they went to cash, and they stayed in cash for years, missing the entire historic bull market that followed. They sold low. The disciplined saw something else. They saw the S&P 500, the engine of capitalism, on sale for 50% off. They didn't have extra money. They had their automated 20% harvest, and that automated transfer kept buying every 2 weeks, buying more shares at lower and lower prices. They were silent. They were mechanical. They were unemotional. Who won? The panicked who listened to the noise, or the disciplined who followed their silent system? The data is clear. The period following 2008 was the greatest wealth transfer in modern history, from the emotional to the disciplined. You have a choice. Be the seller in a panic, or be the buyer in a sale. That's the key. This requires you to manage your input. You cannot drink from a fire hose of panic and expect to think clearly. You must create your internal board of directors. Your internal board of directors is not CNN. It is not the frantic talking heads on financial news. It is not your fearful neighbor. Your board is the curated collection of wisdom you choose. The philosophies and books from those who have walked the path before you. The Stoics like Marcus Aurelius. The long-term investors like Warren Buffett and Jack Bogle.
the calm historical data in books like The Simple Path to Wealth or The Psychology of Money. When the world screams sell, you consult your board, and your board says one thing: zoom out. Always zoom out. Look at a chart of the S&P 500 from 1950 to today. Every single crisis, every war, every recession, every pandemic is a tiny, insignificant blip on a towering upward mountain. Zoom out. A 30% drop over 6 months feels like the end of the world on a daily chart. On a 30-year chart, it's a barely visible valley. You are strong. You are intelligent. You are playing a 50-year game. Act like it. You are the master of your own emotional world. But discipline isn't just about weathering storms. It's also about managing sunny day greed. When your portfolio is up, the mind whispers, more, faster, risk it. To combat this, you perform the gratitude audit. Once a quarter, sit in silence. Open your portfolio or your net worth statement, and instead of asking, how can I make more, you ask, what does this already provide? List it. This provides security if I lose my job. This provides options for my family. This represents years of my discipline. This is freedom growing. This practice grounds you in the purpose of the money, to create peace and options. It tames the greedy beast that would have you bet it all on the next sure thing. Let's add some humor, some truth. Your index fund won't text you drama. It won't ghost you. It won't have an opinion on your life choices. It is the most stable, reliable, low-maintenance relationship you will ever have. It just sits there, appreciating, silently. Be loyal to it. Your action is threefold. 1. Appoint your board. Name 3 books or philosophers that represent calm, long-term thinking. Put them on a list on your phone titled My Board. 2. Practice the zoom out. The next time you feel a pang of fear or greed about money, pull up a long-term chart of the S&P 500. Look at the line. Breathe. 3. Schedule your gratitude audit. Put a recurring quarterly reminder in your calendar. Gratitude audit. What does my wealth already do for me? You are not just managing money. You are managing your mind. You are installing shock absorbers on your psychology. It's not about avoiding emotion. It's about not letting emotion drive the financial bus. You have a choice. Be reactive to every headline or be proactive with your own internal guidance system. With your mind now armored, calm, and focused on the horizon, you face a final critical test of the silent wealth builder. It's not about how you behave in the struggle. It's about how you behave when the strategy starts to work, when the results become visible. What do you do with the power you've quietly built? This brings us to the art of the reveal. Moving to Chapter 9. And if curating a calm, powerful mindset is your goal, consider subscribing part of that internal board. It's a quarterly gratitude audit for your intellect, and unlike the market, this subscription never crashes.
Let's talk about Chapter 9, which is When Silence Pays Off, the Art of the Strategic Reveal. The silence is not the end. It is the preparation. You have built in the shadows. You have accumulated in secret. Your fortress is strong. Your assets are working. Now comes the delicate, powerful moment. The moment you open the door, not to show off the treasure inside, but to step through it into a new life. This is the critical error most make. They think the payoff of wealth is the reveal of the wealth, the flash, the announcement. That is the amateur's victory lap. It invites envy, requests, and predators. The silent wealth builder does something different, something more intelligent. You do not reveal your wealth. You reveal your options. Your power is not in the number on a screen. Your power is in the choices that number creates. The ability to walk away from a toxic job without having another one lined up. The ability to take 6 months off to care for an aging parent. The ability to fund a sabbatical to write a book, learn a language, just think. The ability to say, this deal doesn't work for me, and mean it, because your survival isn't tied to it. That is the strategic reveal. You reveal not the what,
but the what for. You reveal freedom. You reveal autonomy. You reveal calm. This terrifies people who are chained to their paychecks. It inspires the wise. It is the ultimate quiet power move. This shifts the entire purpose of the money. We are not using wealth to buy things. We are using wealth to buy time. The ultimate luxury is not a Rolex. It is an unclaimed morning. It is an empty calendar. It is the quiet control over your 24 hours. When you have enough silent wealth, you stop selling your days. You start owning them. You convert capital back into the one truly non-renewable resource, your life. Let's give this a practical, gritty name, the FU Fund. But understand its true purpose. It's not for juvenile rebellion. It's not for storming out of a meeting in a blaze of glory. That's loud and stupid. The FU Fund is for negotiation. It is the quiet knowledge that lets you sit across from a difficult client, a demanding boss, or a predatory lender, and negotiate from a place of absolute strength. Because you can walk away. You can say no. You can insist on better terms. You don't need them. That knowledge changes your posture, your tone, your eyes. They can sense it. It's a silent confidence that commands respect without uttering a word. You are strong. You are intelligent. You negotiate from abundance, not desperation. This leads to the final and most profound purpose of silent wealth, legacy. Legacy is the ultimate silent wealth. It is building something that outlives you and benefits others, and it doesn't require your name on a plaque. It is the scholarship fund for a kid from your hometown. It is the paid-off mortgage for your children. It is the quiet donation that keeps a local charity running. It is the trust that ensures your grandchildren can pursue their passions, not just their paychecks. This is wealth that whispers through generations. It creates a ripple of freedom and options you will never see. It is the opposite of a flashy supercar that's scrap metal in 20 years. It is a forest you planted, whose shade you will never sit under. That is true, quiet significance. Repeat this core truth until it is your creed. Wealth is the quiet creation of choices. Wealth is the quiet creation of choices for you, for your family, for your community. It is the engineering of options. You have a choice, to spend your wealth on symbols or to invest it in sovereignty. That's the key. You are the master of your own destiny. You don't need their permission to build a legacy of quiet freedom. So what is your strategic reveal? Your action is to define it. Number 1, name your first option. What is the first tangible piece of freedom your silent wealth will buy? Is it job optionality by a certain date? Is it parental sabbatical funding? Write it down. This is your true target. Number 2, quantify your negotiating power. Calculate your runway. If you stopped working today, how many months could you live on your liquid assets? Knowing that number is power. Aim to grow it to 6 months, then 12, then 60. Number 3, sketch your silent legacy. In one sentence, what is the unseen good you want your wealth to do after you're gone? Fully fund college for my nieces and nephews. Be the anonymous donor to the animal shelter. This gives your accumulation a profound, quiet purpose. You are not just building a net worth, you are building an impact, a quiet, powerful, generational impact. The flashy millionaire buys a bottle service for strangers. The silent wealth builder buys the future for their bloodline. You have a choice. You are intelligent enough to choose the latter. This is the mature culmination of the silent strategy. It's not about hiding forever. It's about building so much quiet power that when you finally choose to act, the world adjusts to your decisions, not the other way around. You reveal not your bank account, but your backbone. Now, with the purpose clear, options, time, legacy, we must bring it all home. We must define what victory truly looks like, not in the eyes of the crowd, but in the quiet of your own soul. We must move from the art of the reveal to the anatomy of the victory itself. We arrive at our final masterclass, the Chapter 10. And if you're starting to see that real wealth is about creating choices, make the choice to subscribe. It's the optionality play for your mind, a small, silent investment with a guaranteed return in clarity. The last chapter is chapter 10, which is The Unseen Victory, Living a Rich Life, Not a Rich-Looking Life. This is it, the final truth, the culmination, everything we have built towards. The silent strategy is not a financial plan, it is a life plan. And the victory it delivers is not what society has sold you. It is better. It is deeper. It is unseen. We must kill the old definition. The word rich is poisoned. It is tied to gold chains, bottle service, and public displays of consumption. That is not rich. That is a high-cost, high-stress performance. It is a prison of expectation and debt. You are intelligent. You see that now. Let us redefine rich with the quiet, powerful metrics that matter. Rich is security. It is the deep, cellular knowing that you are safe. The bills are paid, the roof is solid, the future is funded. It is sleeping through the night. Rich is peace. It is the absence of financial anxiety humming in the background of your mind. It is not checking your stock portfolio 10 times a day. It is calm. It is the ability to be present. Rich is generosity, not the performative, filmed donation, but the quiet ability to help a friend in a pinch, to tip 100% for no reason, to fund a cause you believe in without it making a dent. Generosity from overflow, not from obligation. Rich is time freedom, the ultimate luxury, the non-negotiable control over your days, your hours, your attention. The ability to waste a Tuesday afternoon walking in the park with someone you love with zero guilt. This is the target, not a Lamborghini, but a life, a rich life. You have a choice. Chase the symbol or possess the substance. That's the key. So what is the ultimate test of this silent victory? It is not your net worth statement. It is this single question. Could you lose your job tomorrow and be fine? Not panic, not scramble, not sell your things. Be fine. For 6 months, for a year, for 5 years. Because your silent wealth machine, your asset Trinity, your automated harvest, your options has your back. That is the silent victory. It is independence. It is resilience wired into your existence. You are strong. You are the master of your own destiny. You don't need their permission to be unshakable. This changes your identity at the core. You are shedding a skin. You are no longer a consumer. The world does not get to sell you your worth anymore. You are an architect. You design your life with intention. Every dollar is a brick placed with purpose. You are a cultivator. You plant seeds, tend your garden, and patiently await the harvest season after season. You are a guardian. You protect the peace, the security, the future for yourself and those you love. This is your new, quiet identity. It requires no applause. It is its own reward. Now, let's get brutally practical for the last time. Your final actions. 1. Perform the FINE test. Calculate it right now. Total your liquid assets, divide by your monthly living expenses. That is your FINE number in months. If it's less than 6, your next mission is clear. Build that runway. This is your most important metric, more important than your credit score. 2. Schedule a quarterly Rich Life audit. Every 3 months, ask yourself, am I more secure than last quarter? Do I have more peace? Was I generously kind? Did I protect my time? If the answer to these is yes, you are winning. You are rich. 3. Embrace the boring. The path is boring. The victory is quiet. Find joy in the mundane mechanics of freedom. The spreadsheets, the automated transfers, the paid-off debt. This is the grind that creates glory. The silent, daily discipline is the price of admission to a truly rich life. We end where we began, with a single, powerful mantra. Let this be the phrase you carry forward, the final instruction, the summary of everything. Build in silence, let the results make the noise. Build in silence, let the results make the noise. Don't talk about your goals. Achieve them and let people wonder. Don't post your investments. Let your freedom speak for itself. Don't announce your plans. Let your outcomes be the announcement. The results of a silent wealth strategy are unmistakable. A calm demeanor in a chaotic world, the ability to walk away, time for what matters, a legacy that whispers your values long after you're gone. That is the noise. That is the only noise that matters. You have the blueprint. You have the tools. You have the mindset. The silent strategy is now yours. The quiet, disciplined accumulation of a rich life. Go and build.
Let's be clear. The world is designed to make you loud and poor, to trade your future for a present moment of validation. You now know the counter strategy, the silent strategy. Mute the fantasy, audit the noise, treat your income as a seed, plant it in the asset trinity. Distinguish the shovel from the anchor. Cultivate the discipline of a samurai. Deploy the stealth tactics. Fortify your mind. Use your wealth to buy freedom, not flash. And live a truly rich life. This is the path of the quiet millionaire, the unseen victor. The work is not complicated. It is simple, but simple is not easy. It requires the daily, quiet discipline of choosing your future over your present. So here is your challenge, your only challenge. Starting tomorrow, for the next 30 days, operate in total stealth mode. Make not one single financial move for an audience. Automate your savings. Ignore the hype. Add only to your assets. And just for 1 month, build in complete silence. Prove to yourself that the most powerful wealth is the kind no one sees coming. You have the blueprint. The strategy is yours. Now go and build.